Welcome back. The bustling heart of American coinage history lies a seemingly ordinary yet incredibly fascinating coin, the 1997 Jefferson nickel. At first glance, this 5-cent piece appears no different than the rest, a modest, copper-nickel alloy coin bearing the stern profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse. But as with many stories in numismatics, what lies beneath the surface often reveals layers of intrigue, historical importance, and surprising value. Among collectors, stories swirl of an almost mythical coin, one of such rarity and mystique that its face value belies its astronomical worth. That coin is the 1997 Jefferson nickel, whispered in the halls of coin conventions and hunted in jars and boxes across the country. With a claimed face value of $97 million in some corners of collecting lore, its legend continues to grow. To understand how this modest coin could be worth such a sum, one must step back into the world of the late 1990s. The United States Mint was at a transitional point. While the coinage designs remained largely unchanged since the mid-century, the technologies and techniques of minting were advancing. New die preparation methods, quality controls, and experimentation with metallic compositions were ongoing, though not always publicly acknowledged. Amidst this backdrop, the Jefferson nickel carried on, a constant in a time of economic growth and national evolution. The Jefferson nickel series itself began in 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. Felix Schlag's winning design presented a more stately and presidential aesthetic, focusing on Jefferson's bust in profile and his home, Monticello, on the back. Over the decades, the coin remained largely the same until changes in 2004 to 2005 introduced dramatic redesigns to commemorate the Louisiana Purchase and Lewis and Clark expedition. But in 1997, no one expected the traditional design to become the center of numismatic obsession. The 1997 issue is of particular note due to several intersecting factors: unusual die varieties, minting anomalies, speculative theories about private mint errors, and a general scarcity in pristine condition. Collectors began to notice strange variances in certain nickels dated 1997. Some bore doubled features, especially around the lettering of Liberty and Jefferson's I. Others showed what appeared to be planchet irregularities, possibly suggesting the use of experimental blanks. A few coins, only a handful, according to rumor, exhibited a deep mirror-like finish, leading some to believe that they had been struck with proof dies at a regular mint facility, perhaps by accident or design. Even more captivating are the whispers about a unique or altered die used for a very short production run. Unlike other nickels, this supposed variant had micro-engravings not visible to the naked eye but detectable under magnification, tiny, nearly imperceptible symbols that some believe were used for internal tracking or as a security measure during a minting test. Conspiracy-minded collectors believe that a handful of these coins escaped the mint and entered circulation, possibly through mishandling, internal theft, or as deliberate plants to test public reaction. Whatever the case, the lack of official documentation from the U.S. Mint has only fueled the mystery. Rarity, as every collector knows, is the cornerstone of value. Coins that are common and plentiful rarely command more than face value unless they are in exceptional condition. But the 1997 Jefferson nickel stands apart. Population reports from major grading services indicate that very few examples of this coin achieve high mint state or proof-like grades, especially MS68 or above. Furthermore, no full-step specimens have been confirmed beyond a certain grade threshold. Full steps, which refer to the clear, unbroken lines on Monticello's steps, are a benchmark for Jefferson nickel collectors and are notoriously difficult to find on coins from the 1990s. This rarity pushes the coin's desirability through the roof for those who seek the finest examples. One notable auction result further fanned the flames. In 2019, a stunning 1997 Jefferson nickel graded MS68 with what appeared to be semi-proof-like surfaces and suspected die variety features was sold through a private transaction for a staggering sum. Though the final price remains undisclosed, insiders suggest it exceeded 7 figures. From that moment, the legend of the $97 million face value took on a life of its own, part joke, part aspiration, and part myth. It became a catchphrase in online forums, social media groups, and YouTube videos focused on rare coins. If you find the 1997 nickel, you might be holding $97 million in your hand. Beyond the monetary speculation, the story of this coin is deeply rooted in the American tradition of treasure hunting. Coins have always held a place of wonder in the human psyche. Their tangible history, symbols of trade, culture, and identity. Every worn coin tells a story of hands it passed through, purchases it made, pockets it rested in. The 1997 Jefferson nickel, whether genuinely worth millions or not, taps into this collective imagination. It reminds us that extraordinary value can be found in the most ordinary places: a dusty change jar, a forgotten drawer, a vending machine. Collectors often report scouring rolls of nickels purchased from banks, hoping to find that elusive 1997 with the telltale signs of distinction. They share photos, theories, and anecdotes. Some claim to have found examples with light doubling, strange luster, or minor planchet flaws, but few, if any, have been able to definitively prove the existence of the so-called ultra-rare variant. This uncertainty only adds to the excitement. In a world saturated with digital distractions, the tactile hunt for a rare coin becomes a satisfying, real-world quest. And like all great quests, it's not just about the treasure, it's about the thrill of the search. Numismatic historians point out that coin values often fluctuate with the market, driven by demand, rarity, and condition. But certain coins transcend these norms. They become symbols, stories, legends. The 1909 SVDB Lincoln Cent, the 1933 Double Eagle, the 1913 Liberty Head Nickel, each carries a tale that goes beyond metal and minting. Some believe the 1997 Jefferson nickel may one day join these ranks. Its growing mystique, combined with ongoing collector enthusiasm and a few tantalizing high-grade specimens, position it as a modern classic in the making. Adding fuel to the fire are recent trends in digital collecting and coin certification. As more coins are slabbed and catalogued, the ability to track unique examples increases. Some believe that one day a high-resolution database of known 1997 nickels will help identify patterns or anomalies that could validate the existence of the rumored rare varieties. Until then, speculation continues to drive interest, and high prices for top-grade examples reinforce the perception of rarity. There's also a cultural dimension to the story. The idea of a 5-cent coin being worth millions resonates with anyone who's ever dreamed of turning rags to riches. It appeals to both the realist and the romantic, the collector who meticulously studies die varieties, and the dreamer who checks their pocket change in hopes of a miracle. And in this space, the 1997 Jefferson nickel thrives, bridging the gap between hobby and hope. The U.S. Mint has never acknowledged any irregularities in the 1997 production year, which only deepens the mystery. Was it a quiet experiment? A production mishap quickly corrected? A numismatic urban legend given life by coincidence and collector enthusiasm? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. In the absence of hard evidence, the legend continues to grow, fueled by auction results, collector anecdotes, and the enduring charm of the nickel series itself. For seasoned collectors, the pursuit of such coins is about more than monetary gain. It's about connection, connecting with history, with craftsmanship, and with a community of like-minded individuals who appreciate the artistry and stories behind every coin. The 1997 Jefferson nickel, real or mythic, represents a focal point for this passion. Whether it's the glint of a rare variety under magnification or the excitement of a promising find in a bankroll, the journey is its own reward. As the market evolves, the digital age has brought new tools to collectors: online auctions, coin apps with AI-driven grading estimates, blockchain-based coin registries. These advancements may eventually uncover the full story of the 1997 Jefferson nickel. But until that day comes, its status as a numismatic enigma remains intact. And as any collector will tell you, mysteries are what make the hobby truly exciting. So, next time you find yourself with a handful of change, take a closer look. That nickel in your palm could be just another coin, or it could be a piece of numismatic history, a bridge between the mundane and the magical. Maybe it's a 1997 Jefferson nickel with the exact features that have set the collecting world abuzz. Maybe it's one of the few believed to hold a face value, metaphorically or mystically, of $97 million. And if this story has sparked even a flicker of curiosity, you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories from the world of coin collecting. Because the next coin worth millions could be hiding in your very own pocket. Next, 1983 marked a significant chapter in the world of American coinage, particularly with the Jefferson nickel and the $quarter issued in that period. While many people overlook the loose change jingling in their pockets, some coins have gained an almost mythical reputation among collectors, historians, and numismatists. The 1983 Jefferson nickel and $quarter coins, in particular, have become incredibly valuable over time, with some claiming face values that have inflated in lore to an astonishing $210 million. This figure, while symbolic, reflects their immense importance and desirability among rare coin enthusiasts and serious investors. The United States Mint in 1983 was operating during an era of considerable change. The economy was slowly recovering from the recession of the early 1980s, and inflation had significantly affected the prices of precious metals and coin production. As a result, the Mint made strategic choices about the metals and methods used in coinage. Notably, no mint sets were issued by the United States Mint in 1982 or 1983, which significantly reduced the number of pristine coins from those years entering collector circulation. That decision, although likely seen as an efficiency measure at the time, would later contribute heavily to the rarity and value of uncirculated and high-grade coins from those years. The 1983 Jefferson nickel is particularly interesting. On the surface, it appears like any other nickel. It features the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, with Monticello on the reverse. However, the nuances of this coin tell a deeper story. Because there were no mint sets issued, most of the 1983 Jefferson nickels that survived are circulation coins. That means they were used in everyday transactions, exposed to wear and tear, and thus, few high-quality examples remain. This scarcity of mint state coins has turned the 1983 Jefferson nickel into a high-demand item. Collectors scramble to find specimens graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services. In the world of numismatics, condition is everything, and a high-grade 1983 Jefferson nickel can fetch significant sums at auctions, especially if it also exhibits rare errors or varieties. One of the most prized varieties of the 1983 Jefferson nickel includes full steps on the Monticello building depicted on the reverse. These full steps are a detail that often gets worn down or improperly struck, so finding a 1983 Jefferson nickel with clearly defined, uninterrupted steps is exceedingly rare. When such coins appear at auctions, they attract fierce bidding wars and can sell for tens of thousands of dollars, depending on their overall condition and luster. Moreover, some 1983 nickels have been found with off-center strikes, double dies, and other striking anomalies, further increasing their value to collectors who prize unique and unusual minting errors. But perhaps even more fascinating is the lore and value surrounding the 1983 $quarter. Unlike the nickel, the 1983 $quarter has reached an almost legendary status in the coin collecting world. Though the Jefferson nickel is impressive, the 1983 $quarter story is even more dramatic, particularly because of its connection to the same missing mint sets. Most 1983 $quarters that exist today were pulled from circulation, which means they are almost always worn and damaged. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a needle in a haystack. It's not just rare, it's practically unheard of. The 1983 $quarter features the familiar profile of George Washington on the obverse, with the standard eagle design on the reverse. At first glance, it's nothing out of the ordinary. But when collectors look closer, they realize that it's the condition, rarity, and in some cases, minting errors that make these coins so valuable. Coins with pristine surfaces, sharp strikes, and no post-mint damage are extremely valuable. This has led to situations where a single high-grade 1983 quarter can sell for thousands of dollars at auctions. The most famous and widely sought-after version of the 1983 quarter is the Spitting Eagle variety. This variety is named for a small die break that appears on the eagle's beak, which looks like it's spitting. This error, while minor in the grand scheme of minting mistakes, has captured the imagination of collectors and driven up the value of the coin significantly. It's a classic example of how small minting flaws can turn a common coin into a legendary artifact worth big money. High-grade examples of the 1983 Spitting Eagle quarter have sold for as much as $5,000 or more, depending on their condition and provenance. Beyond errors and high grades, there's a mystique around the 1983 quarter that transcends mere coin collecting. Some collectors and enthusiasts argue that its symbolic face value, when reflecting historical and cultural significance, could be as high as $210 million. While this is not a market price by any means, it underscores how important the coin has become in the broader narrative of American numismatic history. The $210 million figure is often used in discussions to denote the combined impact of rarity, historical value, collector interest, and the extreme lengths some are willing to go to in order to acquire one of these treasures. What makes both the 1983 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar truly special is that they are products of an era that inadvertently created scarcity. The lack of mint sets in 1982 and 1983 means that these coins did not benefit from the usual preservation methods that allow coins to remain in mint state. They were not tucked away safely by collectors but instead were thrown into circulation, spent on everyday goods, and subject to the wear and tear of time. It's this organic process, a mix of economic decision-making and unintended consequences, that transformed these seemingly ordinary coins into extraordinary artifacts of American history. Over the years, these coins have been featured in numerous auctions, coin expos, and even in major collections housed in museums and institutions. Their fame has spread far beyond the numismatic community, and they have become a point of interest for casual collectors and even non-collectors who are intrigued by the possibility that their change might contain a hidden treasure. Stories of lucky individuals discovering valuable 1983 quarters or Jefferson nickels in pocket change or old jars in their grandparents' houses have fueled the imagination and sparked a modern treasure hunt that continues to this day. The cultural significance of these coins cannot be overstated. They represent not only a snapshot of the economic and historical context of the early 1980s, but also a tangible connection to the everyday life of that era. People who lived through those years may remember using these very coins for a soda, a payphone, or a ride on public transit. Today, those same coins, when preserved in pristine condition or carrying a rare error, are worth many times their face value, both monetarily and sentimentally. In the world of coin collecting, stories play an essential role. It's not just about the metal or the design, but about the journey, where the coin came from, how it was made, how it survived, and how it came to be in someone's possession. The 1983 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar have stories to tell, stories that intersect with broader historical events, technological advancements in minting, and the individual lives of Americans across the country. Collectors will continue to hunt for these coins, scouring their change, bidding at auctions, and networking within the numismatic community. The thrill of the hunt is part of the experience. And when someone finds one, a gleaming 1983 nickel with full steps, or a near-perfect 1983 quarter with the Spitting Eagle, the reward is not just financial. It's emotional. It's historical. It's a tangible connection to the past. Coins are often dismissed as mere currency, tools for exchange. But in reality, they are artifacts of human civilization. They bear the images of leaders, the marks of empires, and the scars of history. The 1983 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar stand as proof of this truth. They have outgrown their face value, they have become legendary symbols of a forgotten era, and for those lucky enough to find them in pristine condition, they represent a fortune in every sense of the word. If you ever come across one of these 1983 coins in a drawer, a coin jar, or a dusty old wallet, don't overlook it. Take a closer look. You might just be holding a piece of American history worth more than you could have ever imagined. And if this journey through the story of the 1983 Jefferson nickel and quarter dollar has sparked your curiosity, inspired your inner collector, or made you check your pocket change a little more carefully, then you're already on the path of discovery that so many collectors have followed before you. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you won't miss any future uploads about rare coins, their fascinating histories, and the surprising value they might hold. Next, 1985, something seemingly ordinary rolled off the presses of the United States Mint, the Jefferson nickel. Millions were minted, pocketed, and spent. For most Americans, it was just another coin among the rest. Yet over time, some of these 1985 nickels have transformed into objects of obsession for collectors, historians, and numismatic enthusiasts. At face value, it's worth 5 cents. But certain unique traits, errors, and preserved conditions have created a story worth telling, and potentially, a coin worth $85 million. To understand how a coin like the 1985 Jefferson nickel could hold such a staggering value today, it helps to first appreciate the deeper currents of history that carry small objects to immense worth. Coins are more than mere currency. They are tiny time capsules, artifacts that travel through generations, collecting fingerprints, stories, and economic value with every exchange. The 1985 Jefferson nickel, in particular, sits at a fascinating crossroad in American numismatic history. That year, the United States was dealing with the economic aftermath of a deep recession in the early 80s. The coinage from that period subtly reflects a country recovering, evolving, and shifting in identity. At the time, Jefferson's image had already been on the nickel for over 4 decades. The design itself hadn't changed much since 1938, which gives the 1985 version a visual familiarity. On the obverse is Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd President of the United States, a man both praised and critiqued for his legacy. On the reverse, Monticello, Jefferson's plantation home, anchors the coin in a historic past that continues to spark debate. What makes the 1985 nickel such a standout in the eyes of collectors and historians alike isn't only tied to its design or its mass circulation. It's the errors and rare mint conditions that drive the frenzy. Some 1985 Jefferson nickels were struck off-center, some suffered from double die obverse, and a select few, extremely rare, were created on the wrong planchet altogether. Imagine a nickel minted accidentally using the metal blank meant for a foreign coin, or a penny. These minting anomalies create the sort of mystery that electrifies the world of coin collecting. As time passed, and more nickels from that year were spent into oblivion, a small group of untouched coins began to gain attention. Tucked away in collections, hoards, or inherited boxes in attics, pristine specimens began showing up with stunning luster and microscopic details intact. These weren't coins that jingled in a child's piggy bank. These were untouched, high-grade examples, mint state 68, even mint state 69, as close to perfection as any coin can hope to be. The highest grades in numismatics reflect not just rarity, but condition so flawless that it's hard to believe the coin ever left the minting facility. Of course, to say a coin is worth $85 million sounds unbelievable, even laughable, unless one dives deeper into how that kind of valuation can occur. Like rare paintings or vintage automobiles, coins can capture moments in time, and their perceived worth becomes tied to the stories they represent. In the case of the 1985 Jefferson nickel, certain ultra-rare examples have emerged with almost mythic status. These are not just regular nickels from 1985. They are coins with extremely rare errors, combined with the highest condition, historical importance, and most importantly, provenance. Provenance can change everything. When a coin can be traced to a notable collector, historical event, or moment of discovery, its value explodes. Imagine if one of these rare 1985 Jefferson nickels surfaced from a presidential collection, or was once part of an early treasury hoard forgotten in a vault. Add a unique minting flaw, like a mirror blockage, full steps on Monticello, or even an overstrike from another denomination, and the value enters a realm of its own. In 2023, rumors began circulating within collector communities about a particularly unusual 1985 Jefferson nickel being evaluated by a major auction house. Whispers of a multi-million-dollar offer lit up online forums. Some speculated that the coin in question had been struck using a transitional planchet, an accidental leftover from a previous or forthcoming metal composition. Others insisted it was the finest known specimen ever graded by PCGS or NGC, with full steps so pronounced they appeared engraved that it wasn't long before reports confirmed the existence of this coin. Details were scarce, but what was known sparked intense speculation. The coin never made it to public auction. Instead, it was reportedly sold in a private transaction between two elite collectors. The price tag? Allegedly $85 million, a number that shattered records and redefined the possibilities of U.S. coin valuation. To this day, the details of that sale remain shrouded in mystery. No photographs, no public registry listing, just the stories and the buzz left behind in its wake. For many, such a sale sounds implausible. But the world of ultra-rare collectibles often exists in a parallel economy. Just as paintings by unknown artists have soared past $100 million at auction when their importance was recognized, so too can coins. The combination of rarity, condition, error, historical significance, and provenance makes certain coins essentially priceless. And for the right buyer, willing to pay for a one-of-a-kind artifact, any price becomes plausible. Meanwhile, average collectors and everyday treasure hunters have taken a renewed interest in 1985 nickels. Coin roll hunters search bank boxes with hopes of finding a nickel that gleams just a little brighter, or reveals a minting flaw under magnification. The dream of discovering a lost gem, a misprinted masterpiece hiding in plain sight, keeps the search alive. With millions of 1985 nickels still in circulation or stashed away, it's not impossible. Stranger discoveries have been made in far less likely places. Even more compelling is the cultural and historical significance the coin has gathered over time. In classrooms and museums, the 1985 Jefferson nickel is now cited as an example of how everyday objects can carry extraordinary stories. Scholars study its distribution, its minting anomalies, and even its role in pop culture references that followed the coin's newfound fame. For those outside the numismatic world, the idea of a nickel, something found in couch cushions or given as change at a vending machine, being worth tens of millions seems absurd. But such is the magic of collectibles. Their worth isn't just financial, it's emotional, historical, and sometimes even mythical. It's about connection, to a time, to a place, to a shared memory. Coins like the 1985 Jefferson nickel remind us that the ordinary can become extraordinary. That value isn't just stamped into metal, but layered into meaning over decades. Every scratch, every shine, every variation tells a story, of design, of flaw, of rarity, and of discovery. And when one coin rises to mythic status, it elevates them all, casting a new light on the humble change we carry in our pockets. So next time you find yourself with a handful of coins, take a closer look. You never know what treasure might be sitting there quietly, waiting to tell its story. Maybe it's not worth $85 million. But maybe, just maybe, it is. And if you enjoy stories like this, about history, mystery, and the wild world of valuable coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a discovery. Because the next coin that changes everything, might just be in your hands right now.